Yeah,
Okay. Oh, it's fixed.
FBI release.
Is it
Ah,
fixed? Are we sure? Are
it's
we
fixed.
100%
I'm,
positive?
I'm seeing the
Yeah,
audio spike a
she's
little bit on
back
my
on.
end,
Yeah.
so.
R.I.P. Learn sign language, I guess. Yeah.
Son of a.
Yeah. All right. Can you guys hear us? Can you hear us? Someone let us know if we are being heard. Is anyone out there, or is everyone gone to bed? I think we might be okay. I think we might. Learn sign language. Oh
Yes.
yeah, Soter, you had one job.
I have a lot of jobs. I have a lot of jobs. She thinks I have one job. My goodness.
Who? FBI, open up. All right.
I don't hear an explosion yet, so.
Can you hear me?
All right, I hear you fine.
There's
I
like
think
three people
everyone can.
here.
I think
No one said
everyone can
Momo.
hear us.
That implies two.
All right, cool. Well, sound works. So, all right, just a little
Ah.
boomerification. We've been talking about getting rid of the boomer moments, but then you wouldn't even know you're on the show anymore. So we don't want to do that. Hey, Steve-O, are you still clean? Are you with Rona now? Let us know if you're okay. Give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. So, Senor Powell. Hello? Are you guys there now?
Yeah,
Who are you
we're
talking
here.
to?
Okay. I was talking to Stephen Powell in the chat. Okay. So today, I was saying this earlier. I don't think you guys could hear me. We have a goal. Our goal is to see how long it's going to take us to get kicked off of YouTube. So we have some side bets going on the over under, but we are going to do everything we possibly can to get kicked off of YouTube. I want to be the first black channel to get kicked off of YouTube. So it might actually be kind of fun. We'll see how this goes. Oh boy. Oh God. Yeah, and this guy's gonna do it.
Is this on?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
You loud and clear.
Yeah, it's on. It's
I can't
on.
see anybody.
Yeah. Hey,
Black guy.
Yeah. Well, you see the best part of the show then. Yeah.
What's up, guys?
Not much. So we're excited to have you. So Zippy, low standards. I'm not sure exactly what she means by that, but we'll see what happens. All right. So we've got Diet Soter with us. How are you doing, Diet Soter?
Hey, I'm great. I'm doing okay.
Yeah, so
I'll be honest.
Went from great to okay to I'll be honest.
I'm a stay-at-home mom.
Usually that means
no. I'm fine. I'm great.
Well,
hi, ma'am.
I'm usually in bed by now, actually, to be honest. So I had to.
Well, I think you need to clarify that a little bit more.
I'm usually in bed with my baby, like putting him to sleep and falling asleep myself. So.
I don't necessarily know if that clarified anything, but excellent. Well,
I was going to say
thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be here to have some discussion.
You guys know, once you're laying in bed, it's hard to get up again.
Well, fantastic. So, Zippy, you have been looking to get on. You're actually a regular on the Doug show, on Doug Tenaple's show.
Yes, sir.
And and so you've been wanting to get on and have a discussion with me and Soter, and so you consider yourself to be somewhat of a conspiracy theorist anyway, are you not?
I know a thing or two about a thing or two.
Yeah, I mean, I
know we shouldn't be using Skype right now. That's ironic. You know anything about Edward Snowden?
Well, you know what, and we can get into talking about about Snowden a little bit, but so it's funny. My father, he wouldn't consider himself to be a conspiracy theorist, but my father was the original conspiracy theorist, right? So my mother, I remember this really big, well, I won't say an argument because my parents didn't really argue in front of us, but a big discussion that took place, an intense moment of fellowship, as we might say, when my mother wanted to get us, or get my brothers, or maybe myself for Christmas, wanted to get Tickle Me Elmos, right? And it was the version of Tickle Me Elmo that got connected to the computer, and you could download different phrases and things like that. And my dad's like, absolutely not. Don't you realize that the government is going to use those things to spy on us? And we just thought it was the funniest thing in the whole wide world.
Well, he was ahead of the curve.
Right? I mean, he really was. And then here he goes.
CIA.
Now everyone has Alexis in their living rooms.
Well,
and
you know, and
they know someone could be listening and they don't care.
Well, and that's the funny part. So my wife bought me like an Alexa for my office and an Alexa for every room in the house a couple years ago. And I came home one day and all the Alexas are gone. And they've been unplugged and they've been filed away in the file 13 drawer. And I'm like, oh, why did you spend all this money on Alexas? She's like, oh, don't you know they're listening? I'm like, what? She's like, they're listening. They can hear everything. And I'm like, oh, come on. Oh, my goodness. You're such a conspiracy theorist. Well, then like a couple of days later, you start to hear about that one lady who was saying some stuff about her boss, and somehow it got recorded and it got sent to her boss. Conversation she was having in her home. Yeah, so I was thinking, maybe I should do away with the Alexas. So yeah, so they definitely are. Go ahead.
We don't have Alexis, but I gotta tell you, if we go somewhere else and we're having a private conversation at someone else's house, and then suddenly Alexis talks, that's a little creepy.
Yeah. No, it's really creepy. But I mean, I don't know, why we worry about having Alexas in the house. I mean, we've all got either Siri or Google in our pocket. So, and okay,
yeah,
so
you can forget those in the other room.
I imagine it's nice for say older folks who don't like to, or any not older folks, just anyone who doesn't like anyone who doesn't like to spend the time texting or typing, with their fingers, to just yell, Alexis, set a timer for 10 minutes. Or Alexis, remind me to brush my teeth, or do people need reminders for that? But just
well, our kids do.
I can see I as a mother of 5 children who's with them all day long.
Wow, God bless you.
Thank you. I have a hard time thinking sometimes, or remembering. I can see the I can't even think of the word I'm trying to say, but I can see the I'm having a brain fart, guys.
Uh-oh.
We know what you're trying to talk about.
No, you've already explained that it's past your bedtime. So
I think I would love to have a live-in pocket calendar thingy office
assistant.
Yes. There we go. A virtual office assistant that I don't have to type because my fingers get tired.
Well, I mean, I hear Zippy's looking for a job, so
I can't pay him.
No, I'm Zippy, good, man. I don't need to do that.
Zippy, would you consider relocating to Minnesota?
Not the governor that you have now, no.
All right, I guess you're smarter than you look.
Maybe
hey, you guys, if we were to talk about going to so-and-so's house right now, Alexis might tell on us. Wouldn't that be awful?
Yeah, that would be extremely unfortunate. So, okay, so I know that it's not a conspiracy though. I know that it's real. So I was riding home one day, and I called my wife, and I said, hey, do you remember the name of that wine that we had? We were in Colorado. And she's like, no, I don't remember. And so we were talking back and forth, and finally I came up with the name. we thought about it between us, and I said, "Oh yeah, that wine," and it was like a really, really obscure, brand of wine. And I got off the phone with her, and I started getting advertisements for that particular wine. And I'm thinking,
a coincidence.
What a coincidence! Like it's pretty obscure, Zippy. Like you can't just get it anywhere, right? So I'm thinking, okay, how is this happening? How is it that I'm having a private conversation with my wife, and then next thing I know, I'm getting
everyone has experience. I was talking. I was venting with someone about potty training. I was just like, why can't my child go to the bathroom in the toilet? And then the very next day, I was getting potty training advertisements. And I was like, I never typed this. I never did any searching. I never did any of that. And it just showed up.
Oh, yeah, your hands were too tired.
My fingers were too tired. I don't do that kind of thing. Not that often. But I knew in this particular incident, I did not look it up. Because I'm a mother of 5. I don't need to look that kind of stuff up anymore.
Yeah. So and then it's also interesting that my wife was trying to, with my recent health concerns and things like that, my wife likes me to leave my location on my phone on at all times. I'm like, hey, I'm not leaving my location on my phone all the time. It was like, the government tracks us down with that stuff.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh my God, whatever. Well, then here we are in coronavirus time. And they were actually using that to score the states based on who was staying at home, checking on people's locations and how much they were moving. So, it's interesting. They're only conspiracies until somebody proves them right. But there's some pretty deep and dark conspiracies out there. And I'm sure everybody's got their favorite, I'm sure you've heard about all the gay frogs out there, right, Zippy? And what's making them all gay?
Yeah, it's the chemicals.
Yeah.
Well, see, here's the thing. There's conspiracy theory and there's conspiracy fact.
Okay. Yep. But the best conspiracy theories have some fact in them, right?
Well, I mean, the term conspiracy theory came from the CIA to discredit people after JFK was shot.
Ah, okay.
So it's kind of like planting the seed to like, oh, you're one of those. You got theories, so it's like you make it look crazy. So it's a psychological operation.
It definitely is. It definitely is. But I guess that would probably be the biggest conspiracy theory of all time, right? On who shot JFK. I mean, that's still sparks a lot of conversation.
We all know it was Bush Sr.
Well, I mean, that's pretty common.
There. He was in the neighborhood.
He was there in the city, and didn't he become director of the CIA afterwards?
Eventually, he did. Yeah.
Yeah. It was not too long afterwards.
He was in the CIA, and he was. I mean, I don't know if he is the one that pulled the trigger, but he was there in the city, and he was in the CIA, and we all know this. That association or group or whatever that starts with C and ends in A.
Yeah. No. We're no, CIA. We're trying to get kicked off. Remember? So
I know. Just put
it out there.
Wait, if I can just backtrack on that Alexa thing for 1 second. The whole thing about that, I mean, I know they can listen in on your phone. We all know that, but that's more of like the Alexa is more like a casual thing. You forget that it's there, and you're hearing serious conversations. Everything's like being recorded, which they've admitted to now, like including if it's in your bedroom. Wink, wink.
Okay, Zippy. I thought unicorns typically slept in barns, but okay. So, but what happens in the?
No, I'm in space. I'm talking about other people's bedroom.
So yeah, somebody finally called you out. Yeah, you guys are right. We've got Alex Jones here, off camera. Zippy is really Alex Jones.
Yeah.
So sorry. Yeah, you guys got us. So, but okay. So let's start breaking into some of these though, because there are some pretty incredible conspiracy theories. I think, and Miss Diet Soter, have you heard about some of these conspiracy theories as it pertains to the coronavirus? I mean, what are some of the most outrageous conspiracy theories? We'll go around the virtual room because we're practicing social distancing right now. I hope Soter's sitting at least 6 feet away from you, Diet Soter.
Never.
Okay.
So one conspiracy theory is that the 5G causes it. Another one is that it was like enhanced so that only to affect Asian men, but I don't think that's true. Anyways, and then there's others that say the testing that they use. So the COVID-19 is a type of coronavirus. There's other coronaviruses. Just the common cold is a coronavirus. And so another conspiracy theory is that the testing just detects coronavirus and not necessarily that one in particular. And then there's conspiracy theories that it affects people who have imbibed in a particular drug a lot in a very bad way. And
get on the mic.
Am I talking? Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. Yeah.
Okay. I'm not sure. I have to think some more. I've heard lots of them.
So the big one going around right now is, that the whole purpose behind the coronavirus was basically caused by 5G. That's oh my gosh, there's so much information going on about 5G, and I immediately every time I hear it, I think about Soter, because Soter's more of a nerd, not nerd. That's probably a bad way to put it. Soter's more
you're thinking a geek.
A geek.
I don't know what the difference is.
There's a big difference.
There's a humongous difference
about 5G, and he's like, it's just like a microwave, honey. So what I read is they can change, what is it, the frequency or the ionizing, or I forget what it was, but it can be used and not harm us, but it can also be hijacked and then harm us badly.
Sure. Well, I mean, the radiation, for one, is something that people have been really concerned with, the radiation levels coming off of them. The other has been using the high frequency radio waves, and being able to conduct some mind control as a result of that. But I don't know. We'll see. I mean, if Bernie gets elected, then we'll definitely blame it on the 5G. So,
if he gets elected, yes, that's right. He stepped down today, didn't he?
Supposedly. He did. So,
is Milwaukee gonna burn now?
One can hope.
Well, I don't see why he would stay in. I mean, essentially everything that he was hoping to get in is now law. So I feel like he'd have nothing else to offer the American people. So
I have to say, I'm shocked that the Democratic establishment has sided with Joe, Uncle Creepy.
Yeah, that's kind of an interesting ordeal. So
that's not a surprise when you think about Sanders. I mean, they're gonna screw him again, even if he stayed in there.
Become incompetent.
Yeah, but everyone can see Joe's not all there anymore.
Yeah, but he's establishment.
That way, if Clinton is vice president, he becomes president.
But none of the Bernie people are gonna vote for him, are they?
Though I saw it trending today on Twitter. It said blue no matter what.
Oh, well.
So they don't care.
In addition to that, one of the things that I saw that Q was talking about today, because we, obviously we are. I'm not speaking of myself in the third person, or maybe I am. But one of the things that Q was talking about was that they were really going to be pushing hard for mail-in ballots this year. So, and with the mail-in ballots, it would open itself up to voter fraud.
Yeah, how are we gonna stand by? I don't know. This whole mail-in thing. I can see the appeal to it. Plenty of people use it already.
Sure.
And President Trump uses it. Obviously, he lives in Florida. He works in Washington D.C. But
yeah,
that stimulus that got passed, they wanted same day voting as part of that deal.
Yeah.
I walk up and you register and you vote right then. Talk about fraud.
I could see it. I could definitely see it, but it's not much better than what we have here in Minnesota already as it stands. But that's a different.
As long as people are scared of this coronavirus, they're gonna want this mail-in voting, and they're gonna fight for it. Probably.
Yeah, this thing's almost over though.
Well, that's interesting you say that, because obviously there's a lot of conspiracies that come about as a result of it. But I would say the king of all conspiracies, I remember years and years and years ago, I took a job while I was in college, right? Took a job in college. I was riding around with this wacko guy. He was training me in, and he was telling me about all of these conspiracy theories, things that I'd never heard before. And he introduced me to this term Illuminati. And I'm like, what the hell is an Illuminati? I mean, I was a freshman in college.
Oil then?
Yeah, and he's like, oh no, there's two Illuminatis. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right. Well,
regular and heavy duty.
No. So he said there's an Illuminati that essentially runs the entertainment industry, right? That no one makes it past, essentially a C-list celebrity, right? Unless they are willing to kiss the ring of the Illuminati. But then he went on to talk about how there was also the political Illuminati, these families that essentially run the world's political scene, right? And they control the banks, they control all of it. And I'm just sitting here listening to all this stuff, and I'm like, this guy is like a couple of tacos short of a Fiesta platter. Like, he's a nut job. But it seemed like after he brought this up, I started hearing about the Illuminati constantly hearing about the Illuminati. And I'm thinking, is there something to this? I mean, what's going on? See, Corono here says the Illuminati is confirmed. So I guess it's not even a conspiracy theory anymore. There really is an Illuminati.
Have you looked into Bill Cooper's Mystery Babylon series? He did a radio show.
Tell me about it.
Bill Cooper, I think he was a former CIA or some high, secret intelligence kind of guy. And then he wrote a book. What was it? The Pale Horse? I forget.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Beware the pale horse.
And he did a TV. Yes, there we go. And then he did a radio station, and then eventually one day he was killed in his yard. But
yeah.
So he talked about Mystery Babylon. Mystery Babylon is basically, according to him, is a religion behind all these little factions like the Illuminati, other little factions. Behind it all is Mystery Babylon.
That's that's interesting. This same guy was when we were riding around, he was talking about this. I was going to say MS-13, but there was it's not MS-13. It was the hold on, darling. The mind control project. MK Ultra. There you go. Yes, MK Ultra. And I was like, this guy is nuts. Like, how much longer is this day gonna go?
Seriously, that was confirmed. And then of course they said we don't do this anymore. You know.
Yeah, they burned the files and got rid of it.
Or whatever.
All the files on.
We don't do this anymore now that you found out.
Right. So it's interesting to me to think about that. I mean, so the government comes up with a process and this is actually confirmed. The government comes up with a process by which they can program people's minds, right? And they can essentially get people to act.
And the procedure, how do they split people's personalities, Q?
Well, but they could essentially fracture people's personalities and get them to act out in ways that they wouldn't typically. And so, but we're supposed to believe that because of our government and other governments being so incredibly moral, that they decided that they were going to leave that alone because that was delving into unnatural realms. I'm thinking, what? Really? Are you kidding me? Like, no. So we're supposed to believe that our government said, oh, that's going too far.
No. It just got gone.
So
you know how fracture their personalities them into thousands or hundreds. I don't know.
I assume a
tens,
hammer.
At least.
Okay.
At least more than one. They torture them and drug them and
they experimented on homeless guys and hookers. MK, it came from mind control. The German spelling of that. That's they use German techniques to brainwash people, like Manchurian Candidate style, but worse.
Wow. It's like I said, this guy was telling me about this stuff, and I thought he was just like a total screwball. And then fast forward, you start realizing, and there was an actual series on Netflix about the MK Ultra deal.
That was your longest workday ever.
Oh, it was, man. It was only like a 6-hour deal, but it felt like it was like 12 hours. And I walked away thinking this guy is an absolute nut job. The other one, well, I didn't say it to him. I just kind of shook my head and was like, wow, really? Okay. But I did. So if he's watching, I apologize. I thought you were an absolute quack.
But he was killed years ago by the agency.
So fast forward, I was a few years ago. I was down in Mexico, and there was y'all's former governor here in Minnesota, Jesse Ventura, right? And he was doing the show called Conspiracy Theories. And so my wife and I were going through watching a couple of these old shows, and he was talking about this HAARP machine up in Alaska where they could take these machines and they could control weather, right? And I thought, man, this guy, that's nuts. That's absolutely insane. Well, I'm down. Huh?
You're talking about HAARP.
Talking about the HAARP machine, right? So funny enough, I'm down in Cabo San Lucas, and I was at my hotel. We were getting ready to go golfing, and I look up, and who should be there but Jesse Ventura? So I go up and start a conversation with him, and really, really nice guy, And my guys are going to leave to go golfing. And I thought, man, I got an opportunity to sit here and talk to Jesse Ventura. You guys go ahead and without me, I'll catch up later. And so get to visiting with this guy, and I'm thinking, okay, so you do this show, Conspiracy Theories. It's like you don't really believe any of that stuff, do you? And he says, well, when I first started, he says, no, I didn't believe hardly any of it. He said, but then I got to that HAARP episode, and he said, and I started realizing, wait a minute. This makes sense. And I was like, that was probably the weirdest one you ever did that I saw. It's like, you really believe the government can control the weather? He says, well, absolutely. He says, there's been several treaties signed by several different countries saying that you could not use nuclear weapons and you could not use weather-altering weapons against other countries. And I'm like, okay, yeah. He says, well, why do you think they would ever put that inside of a treaty that you couldn't use weather-altering weapons if they didn't feel that there was a need to put that in there?
If they didn't believe they existed.
Well, yeah. And I'm thinking, oh, I
yeah,
guess.
But that doesn't mean nothing, though. You heard of the Five Eyes Treaty?
No. What is that?
Five Eyes. That's like all the English-speaking countries that are like powerful. Us, England, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. They agree to not spy on each other. Yeah. Well,
that's a weird one.
English speaking, and they agree to not spy on
you said powerful though.
Well, you know they're like the cousin of Australia, so they lump them in. So they agreed to like not spy on each other, but apparently we violate that all the time. It doesn't matter. We still spy on everybody. What they're supposed to. They do have that agreement. So we're gonna spy on our friends and who, you know.
Well, this is true. This is true. We do. I mean, but of course, what do they say? Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. So, I can understand why you'd want to keep an eye on the British. I mean, you know, we have a somewhat troubled past with them anyway. So,
yeah, but that really never fell apart though. If you look up stuff about Anglo-American establishment, you'll see that like they work hand in hand all the time.
Sure.
By the way, going back to that 5G stuff, I think that's I'm not saying that's nothing. I don't think it had anything to do with the virus though. The big thing about the virus is that Bill Gates has got money to make. He just stepped down from Microsoft, and now he wants everybody to have a vaccine on the entire planet.
Okay, so let me ask you that, and I'm gonna ask this for the chat. I just want for all of you guys that are watching, I want you to just say yes or no. Okay, don't explain it, just yes or no. But if tomorrow, because every last one of us that's here has been affected by a coronavirus in some way, shape, or form. If tomorrow they were to come up with a completely safe vaccine, would you take it? So I'll ask you, Zippy, what's your answer?
That's a negative, sir.
Okay. And
never gonna happen.
Soter?
Probably not. No.
Okay.
I would usually say no, but you're saying completely safe. What does that mean? Like they say it's completely safe?
Oh, yeah. Well, they say all of them are safe. So would you take it?
No.
Okay.
For one thing, I know the main vaccine they're talking about is being pushed by Bill Gates, and he's the one that wants to put a chip in it so that we can control or, could track who's getting vaccines. And then they can all get a digital pocketbook.
Tattoo.
Tattoo?
No.
Well, certificate.
Yeah, he said everyone needs a certificate. You might have to prove that to fly or to go back to work. And he's just nonchalant about it. He's like, yeah, well, this is what you're going to have to do.
No, I meant like a digital bank account. That's what I meant.
Oh, really? That's interesting. I told my wife, and I also told my mother and a couple other people. I said, well, what if this whole Corona thing came about, and obviously they got businesses shut down. It's a national health emergency, international health emergency. I said, what if they came out with a vaccine, and they said no one was free to conduct commerce, no one was free to go to work or get hired or go to school, to enroll in school or any of that, unless they were vaccinated with the COVID-19 vaccine, and they had to have some type of a chip or mark or something to let everyone know I have been vaccinated. Well, what would that look like? And they just both got this really sick look on their face, right? Like, oh my God, could that really happen? But of course, then the video comes up of Bill Gates saying, eventually we're all going to have certificates for the people who are recovered from COVID, have had COVID, and also the people that have had the vaccine. And I don't know, it's just interesting to me because, I mean, you monitor these things, Diet Soter. Have you ever seen a time where people were more skeptical of Bill Gates?
No. Most people I know, I guess I should maybe be more specific. I don't go out and talking about conspiracy type stuff to everyone I know. So every now and then I'm still amazed. I'm like, oh, you don't know this, and I'm just so surprised. You still believe what you see on CNN? What? I'm just I don't know. But I feel like if I just go out there and tell them what I believe, they won't even listen to me either. So anyways, I think a lot of people are skeptical of Bill Gates. Not everybody knows much about him. They think he's a philanthropist. He just wants to make everyone better. But he has, if you look into the things he says, and just kind of think about them, like what did he say on a TED Talk? He said he wants to lower the population of the earth by giving people vaccines. But vaccines are supposed to make people healthy, right? How does that work?
That's interesting. But yeah, I could see the TED Talk you're referring to.
Didn't he also create a lot of voting machines too, and through Microsoft?
Yeah, well, he created the software.
His father, wasn't he on the board for Planned Parenthood?
That I'm not sure about. I wish
he was on the board of Planned Parenthood as a whole, or maybe Planned Parenthood in a city.
They give money to Planned Parenthood.
Specific. It was more than that. He was part of. It was more than just giving money.
So
nations against Bill Gates in Africa. I don't remember which country. That their tetanus vaccine actually vaccinated women against getting pregnant.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's population control.
Well, I mean, he did give the TED Talk.
There's your population control.
Well, I mean, it's been proven that in a country where women cannot get pregnant, that the population trends downward. So that is a scientific fact. So Zippy, let me ask you, where did the coronavirus start from? Where did it come from?
Well, it's the U.S. with the military doing germ warfare research.
I've heard that.
Okay. Yeah, I've definitely heard that. But what do you believe, Zippy?
I heard that some guys that went over there to the World Military Games back in October, it was in Wuhan, and that all of a sudden people started to get sick. That was back in October.
Oh, you know what conspiracy, you guys? I'm sorry, Zippy. I didn't mean to interrupt you. But that we have already had it here for a while.
Okay.
Be something.
Okay. Actually, there's a bunch of people in your neck of the woods, bunch of your buddies and friends that were saying that they thought they might have had the old coof.
They had symptoms.
Yeah. I was
definitively at it, but it was one of the worst pictures I remember for sicknesses.
Yeah.
And one particular time. Okay, so I'm sorry. Can I? So I would need someone else to chip in, someone who knows a little bit more about science and health and all that. But another theory is that
that's why I'm here.
The coronavirus isn't really a pneumatic virus, but it affects the iron hemoglobin, and I had 3 iron infusions this summer, and I wonder if that's why I had it so bad. I felt like it took me over a month to get over the cough.
That's interesting. Like I said, I've heard that's been a that is a fact that we've had it here much longer than what we realize. Whether or not that's the case or not, I'm not sure. But Zippy, where do you believe that it came from?
Well, actually, real quick before I get into that, the Bill Gates Foundation, someone who's on the leadership council for them, trying to get a decade of vaccines for the planet, is Dr. Anthony Fauci, who is...
Why does that name sound familiar?
Oh, he's on the news every day.
Who is Anthony Fauci?
Along with Dr. Birx.
Yeah, he's on the news every day.
Dr. Birx? What is that?
She's a lady. There's 2 doctors most days that are in the
Trump administration.
Wait a minute. Hold on, Zippy. Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait. No, hold on. No. You're not moving on from that one that easy. No, hold up. Are you telling me that you believe that Dr. Fauci sits on the board of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation?
He's on the leadership council.
On the leadership council?
Yeah, that sounds like
that sounds like
it. Dr. Anthony Fauci, Dr. Anthony Lake, Ms. Joy Fufai, Dr. Tachi Yamada. That's the leadership council.
Is this the group that met in sometime last fall and was planning an epidemic? They were like, how would this affect the world if this happened?
Yeah, that was back in October.
With Bill Gates.
Yep.
So, okay, this is interesting. This is interesting.
So Dr. Fauci has money to make if we all have to get vaccines.
Dr. Fauci has been in the government, assisting our government for since the first Bush was in office, I believe.
That's interesting. I don't think I've heard that. No, you're fine. Miss Q is here and giving me something. Well, I have my cans on and I'm afraid to take my cans off because if I take my cans off, I think I'm going to get a lot of feedback. But I tell you what, I'm going to turn my gain down and I'm going to try it.
Oh, she should join on her phone or something on another computer.
I don't think she wants to join like that, but she would definitely have a lot to add to this conversation. But she's given me some information. Yeah, and I guess you're right. I guess Dr. Fauci is involved. Not that I didn't believe you, Zippy, but I don't typically trust unicorns as far as I can throw them. So.
No one can throw me. What are you talking about?
Okay, so Patrick Law brings up something very interesting. He says, assuming all of this, you have to assume, good old buddy, Trump would be complicit. Okay, so let me explain something to you. So this whole thing, from coronavirus to this is all the deep state fighting back. Okay. So all of this coronavirus, all of that was put in place in order to break the Trump economy and to bring Trump down. Trump is on the war path to drain the swamp. This is just the swamp fighting back. And so Trump has been on the war path fighting alongside of the NSA for some people say for over a decade, but some people say that it's only been since 2016. So no, Trump is attempting to drain the swamp. This is just the swamp fighting back. Did I miss anything there?
So let's assume Trump is fighting the swamp. What's he supposed to do if there's this virus that pops out of the woodworks? What's he supposed to do? The MSM, the mainstream media is against him.
Well, but okay, so
in a world where we have green screens, what are we gonna do?
Well,
did you see all the videos that came out of China? People dying on the streets.
Well, but let's back up though. Let's back up. If you were saying that this is a larger government conspiracy, that the CIA is involved, that the FBI is involved, that all these alphabet organizations, alphabet boys are involved with this, then you would almost have to, I could see why people would say, hey, how is Trump not involved? I mean, Trump sits at the head of all of this. So how is he not complicit in all this? It's a fair question.
What was the point in attacking him for all these years then?
That's an interesting question as well. So
keep us angry, I suppose.
And that was so Miss Q is over here and she just said,
hi Miss Q.
She said, well, why do they want him out so bad? Is this just a dog and unicorn show?
Hey.
Why do they want him out so bad? I mean, clearly they've wanted him out since the very beginning. They have they've been investigating and one hoax after another to try to get rid of him. And the latest investigation is to investigate his response to the coronavirus, right? Could he have saved more lives if he had done things differently? So there has been a concerted effort. So you bring up the question, is he complicit in all of it? Well, if he's their buddy and if he's working in cohort with them, then why are they fighting to get him out? They wouldn't want to get their buddy out. I mean, they loved Obama, so why do they hate Trump? Zippy, that question is for you.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking to Diet Soter.
Well,
I don't think
she's going to take care of some business, so she's not going to hear you for a minute or two.
I don't think he's part of the swamp, as some people in the chat are saying. I think he means well, but he doesn't have great instincts when it comes to who to surround himself with. He's got too many neocons and Zionists and all these other people that give him bad advice. And he's just like, okay, all right, like I never did this before. I guess you're advising me correctly. And he's had to learn the hard way. Look how many people have been booted from his administration since he was inaugurated.
Yeah, I mean, but wouldn't you say that the fact that he's had people in there that he's actually gotten rid of, I mean, wouldn't that actually be to his credit? Wouldn't that be to his credit that when people are screwing up and not doing their job properly, that he boots them?
I give him credit for that. I think he wakes up and he sees that they're not doing, he likes results. He's result oriented. I think he's always been like that. So it doesn't matter who you are. He doesn't care if you're Joe Schmo or if you're a 4-star general. If you're not doing exactly what he wants, he's like, all right, you're out. I gave you a chance and I'm not happy. But I think, he's ignored a lot of stuff, which I don't agree with. Like all the censorship on social media of conservative voices. And he's just like, well, we're monitoring the situation. It's like, when are you going to do something about it? And now he's buddy with Google as they're building this website for this virus. in coordination where everybody can register and find out where to get tested and everything else. So it's like Google's the one that was helping to defeat his campaign in the first place, the first time around.
Are you guys getting any feedback?
No, not at the moment.
Okay, excellent. So
your signal's being jammed.
Well, I'm just waiting for the NSA to take over the stream.
I'm waiting for the missile strike.
Yeah, there might be a drone strike, but fortunately, Soter taught me how to at least for the sake of the government to do all of my shows from Bermuda. So
that's a good idea. They can't reach Bermuda. That's a British territory.
Yeah. So okay. So
cue cards. No pun
what?
Intended. I said, is she showing you cue cards?
Yeah.
No pun intended.
She's giving me cue cards. So, all right. So with that said, so where are you? So you're convinced that this virus started how?
Is that for me?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean,
I think, I mean, anything's possible right now. It looks like it was a level 4 bioweapons lab that's 200 yards away from that wet market, and that if they weren't developing it for future use, it might not have been an accident that this got out. It can go either way. But sure. It just happened to be 200 yards away from, it might be 200 feet away. It's pretty close. from that wet market where they, with the crazy animals and everything.
They blamed it on, they blamed it on the market.
It's the only level 4 bioweapons lab in the entire country.
It does seem kind of interesting that's ground zero for it. So let me ask you, Diet Soter, where do you feel that this all started from?
Where do I feel?
Yeah, where do you think this coronavirus originated, or how it originated? I mean, do you believe that there were some Chinese people eating some bats and that's where it came from?
No, not from bats.
Okay.
Well, maybe maybe originally, but I think it's been edited or changed over time. It could have totally mutated, but I don't have a theory about where it came from. Well, yeah, I do. I think that one 3-letter agency that we don't like to say probably started it.
So you believe that it was an American-made?
Not necessarily American-made. I think that agency has people all over the world. You remember what I talked about before, the Mystery Babylon group or religion?
Okay. All right. So you believe that it had CIA origins. All right. Yep. So Soter,
doesn't mean America.
You need to carry your own weight over there. You can't just put your wife to work. So where do you feel like it originated from?
There were some papers years ago about bat flu, which the papers seem to, at least from the articles I read, would have had similar symptoms to what we know as COVID-19 now. But these coincidences are all adding up. Like Wuhan has a level 4 bio lab that just so happened to have a big old conference about vaccines and diseases at the same kind of time that stuff started popping up in China. There are several instances of Chinese scientists in the United States and Canada who were just suddenly fired or let go and shipped back to China for no particular reason that anyone seems to want to talk about. There was a Harvard guy who
Lieber
to the Wuhan facility that he didn't disclose to the federal government when he was taking grants. As Dame Pesos likes to say, there's a bunch of coincidences. Yeah.
Yeah, my husband's not much of a conspiracy guy, but yeah, these coincidences are adding up pretty quickly, and
it just so happens to come in an election year where there's a president who has a derangement syndrome named after him.
Well, you do know your husband is a full-on QAnon supporter now.
Sort of. We're both. Well, I'm not saying he is, but we're both suspicious people in general.
But he's a. I'm not saying.
Wait, you guys believe in that stuff?
But no, he is. He told me specifically that he would buy into it if something were to happen to what's not Jeffrey Dahmer. Jeffrey Epstein. Sorry. Once he got arrested, he said, if something happens to Epstein, I'll start to believe some of this Q stuff. So, and unless Soter, do you believe that Epstein killed himself?
You said no, but now you're back to it. What's going on, man?
Well, no, that's my story. I'm sticking to it there, bud. That's what you said. I was riding in your vehicle, and you said it specifically, plain as day. So don't act brand new now.
Jeffrey Epstein.
Dahmer.
Freudian slip. Okay, so all right, so here we go. So we've got this virus.
And it just so happens to show up. Well, I mean, it was in China first, supposedly, but it came here, supposedly, immediately after the impeachment failed.
Well, technically, they were trying to they were trying the impeachment. They were already dealing with it. We were actually had already started to have some cases pop up in the U.S. and then the Illuminati killed Kobe Bryant, and right after the Illuminati killed.
Do you think he really died? Do you think he really died?
Kobe?
Yeah.
Well, I mean.
You think he's not dead?
Well, I mean.
I'm saying all I know.
Hey, hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on.
Okay. Other conspiracy.
I need you to ask. I mean, define dead.
Well, so he had. Oh, sorry. Okay, so he dies in this helicopter accident. Immediately, the news, they jump on it and they say him and all his girls died, right? And it turns out it was just him and one daughter. How do we know we can trust the news, anyways? And then, so his death was predicted. How many years? It was on that cartoon show. The helicopter crash. What show is this? Does anyone know? The cartoon Adult Swim, I think.
That's the one I don't know.
Anyways, so it happens. It's Kobe Bryant in this helicopter in this cartoon, and it crashes. And there's this little. So
the Illuminati killed him off. Yeah. During the same time that the Wu flu is coming to the U.S., which happens to be during the same time that the impeachment process is crashing and burning at the same time, and so now we've got this worldwide pandemic. So I mean, you are well studied in this, Diet Soter. What's the goal? What's the goal with all of this? What do you think they're trying to get out of this Wu flu?
Oh, so I think a lot of it's just to keep us too scared to think, too scared to question, too scared to go out and vote, maybe. Too scared to resist a new vaccine, potentially. By the time who knows how long they're going to try to drag this out. Minnesota is already shutting us down until May 4th, apparently. And is it Tennessee, Connecticut, New Jersey? Shoot, I can't remember. Virginia? One of those?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, one of them.
Well, you got a 1 in 50 chance of being right, so.
Which state is the one that has the governor that had blackface or Ku Klux Klan?
Oh, that was Virginia.
Virginia.
Yeah,
there we go.
Governor Northam. Well, well, in all fairness, he came out and said it was him, and then he said that picture wasn't him. So I guess he was in blackface once upon a time, but that wasn't it.
So, anyways, so weeks ago, he proclaimed that they were going to be shut down until I think it was June 4th. It was a Wednesday. That's all I know. Okay. And then I discovered that the day before the shutdown was supposed to end was the day of their primaries. It just makes you go, huh? Why so long and why immediately that day after?
So you believe that this is a possibly a play to stop the election?
Maybe. I'm hoping that we're seeing them, they're scrambling, they're losing, they know they're losing, they don't know what to do, they've got to do something, you know what I mean?
And I disagree with that.
Okay.
So how do you disagree with that, Zippy?
If they were going to do that, they would have done it in the, late summer. If this was on purpose, they can't stretch this out until the fall. I'm looking at the beta test aspect of, getting people indoctrinated into being locked down in their homes and just giving up everything. They're like, oh, you can't go to church. Well, I thought there was liberals always want to say separation of church and state. Well, then how can the state tell me not to go to church?
Well, I mean,
good.
Separately from that, the stuff that Barr, he went in front of Congress to possibly suspend habeas corpus. A lot of stuff they're rolling out. Rahm Emanuel said they never let a crisis go to waste. No matter, and I think that applies to no matter who's in power. And it doesn't mean Trump's complicit. He's just like, all right, I guess if this is the best thing. He's let the lockdowns go to the state level, if you notice.
Sure. Well, I would venture to say that this entire thing was meant to be a very contagious illness with a very low mortality rate. I don't think it was meant for mass casualties, but it was meant for mass effectiveness. And I feel that because the United States media is an extension of the Chinese propaganda machine, they knew that the United States would definitely run with the story and blow it up, that our media would definitely blow it up as fast and as far as possible. But
that's only true as far as because who's president right now, though? Well, if this was Obama, they would tell everybody to be calm. We'll be okay.
I'll disagree with you because they're actually pulling a play out of the playbook from what was that 2007, right? 2007 in 2008. If you remember, everything was about the war in Iraq. Everything was about the casualties, the bodies we were losing in Iraq. And every single channel, whether it be Fox, whether it be MSNBC, whether it be CNN, there was always the tally of how many people were lost in Iraq, how many people were lost in Afghanistan in this endless war. And so the tally was going constantly, right? And I feel like they're doing the exact same thing now with the coronavirus tally, right? They're wanting to show how much destruction has been caused as a result of this and create panic, create fear. So I believe that they are using a trick that they've used before. And if you remember, they started talking about recession long before there were ever actual signs of a recession. You know, they've been calling for a recession since last summer. They were saying when we had a couple of rough days in the stock market, and of course the stock market came back. They knew that the only way it's about the economy, stupid, right? I mean, isn't that what we've been told? They knew that there was absolutely no way that the economy could be going as well as what it's been going, and they would be able to beat Trump. They knew that there's no way. It was the best economy they'd ever seen. So I believe that the push to keep things closed down longer is simply a push to ensure that the economy goes past the point of recovery before the election. They do not want people going to the election with the stock market up and the economy doing well.
I don't disagree with you on that. I think it's the multi-pronged attack. There's many things that they can gain from this. How many things we just covered? We're talking about possible forced vaccines, possible removal of Trump, indoctrination to get people accustomed to, almost martial law. That's 3 big things right there. Plus what other stuff we didn't talk about yet. Plus what other stuff we don't even know about. I think it's kind of like, all right, well, let's see what we can get away with.
Well, I mean, and I can't necessarily say that I disagree with you. Diet Soter, are you still there?
Yes. Sorry.
I'm curious to find out at what point they start using those FEMA camps in the Walmarts down south.
What point?
Yeah, at what point are they going to start using them?
I don't know. I suppose maybe once mass population starts uprising against them.
Is that what you think, huh, buddy?
Yeah, he's got a lot to say about it. He actually makes more sense than Zippy.
Thank you. Have him on all the time.
Oh my goodness. So, all right. So we've talked about, we've discussed the MK Ultra thing. We've discussed we wanted to kind of talk about some of these conspiracy theories. Of course, the left came out with this conspiracy theory about the reason why Trump was pushing this medication, this hydrochloroquine, was because he had a stake in it. He invested in the company. And so that was the big push yesterday to talk about that. Today we find out that he has the company that was responsible for creating it. He has a small portion of that in his portfolio through a mutual fund. He has about $1,300 in that company. So he's got about $1,300. So for a guy who's worth $3 billion, that $1,300, that makes all the sense in the world to push a company to push a drug manufacturer in order to maximize that $1,300 investment.
Yeah, somebody's in the chat that the
every
WHO
penny
is
counts.
funded by China. That's not true.
Say what?
Corona, one of your mods, says WHO is majorly funded by China, and disagreed with that.
Fair, he probably means the individual members of the actual WHO leadership are funded by China.
Yeah,
under the table.
Yeah, it seems like whenever there's a world anything, the United States picks up the majority of the tab.
Yeah, that's not by accident. That's to help bankrupt us.
Well, I would probably venture to say you're right. I think the best conspiracy theories, right? They're always going to have some truth in them. But you hit the nail on the head, Zippy. Most of the time when we start hearing conspiracy theory. This is a conspiracy theory. This is just a conspiracy. Most of the time that's something that people put on they like to cloak people in that in order to immediately shut them down, right?
Yeah, it's to discredit.
They're a tinfoil hat, idiot, living in their mother's basement. Well, I think people are starting to see this for what it is. And I can't sit here and say that I know for a fact that this was created by China for the purpose of destroying the U.S. economy. Did it come out of China? Yes. Is it destroying the U.S. economy? Yes. It's interesting, the timing, right? It comes right in between the first phase of the trade deal with China and the second phase of the trade deal with China. The timing is very, very interesting. It happens during an election year, right? China, their interest and the left's interest are very much aligned right now. Very, very much aligned. What's good for China right now, as it pertains to the trade deals, is what's good for the for the left, because both of those will get Trump out of office. So I'm interested to see how all this plays out. But awesome to have you guys on the show and have you guys visiting with us and talking about it. So Zippy,
are we done?
Are you? No, I'm asking you a question. So are you on lockdown right now?
No.
No. Are unicorns essential?
I can go wherever I want. I'm a unicorn. As soon as we're done, I'm going back to space.
You're out there now.
So I didn't
hear that. What was that, Soter?
You mean you're not in space now? I mean, I'm in space, so certainly you are.
I'm at a crash pad right now. Like a warehouse in Iowa.
So Diet Soter.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, what is the craziest conspiracy theory that you've heard, that you've actually seen unfold, and it actually turned out to actually be true?
Oh, there's so many that haven't definitively been proven to be true. Like, I've seen papers that seem to show that they're true, like the I don't know. I mean, I would say this is absolutely true, but you would be like, no.
I definitely want to hear that one. What is that one?
Sorry.
I want to hear this.
You put me on the spot. I just don't know what to say right now.
No, which one was that you said that that Soter would say absolutely wasn't true? Come on, Soter.
There's so many, you guys. There's Sandy. I don't want to say that full name. And then there's 9.
Okay, yeah.
There's fluoride. There's Las Vegas.
What's the deal with the fluoride?
Okay, so we had.
We don't go there. We don't go there.
We had a good discussion.
I'll go there. I know about that.
He was like, look at this evidence I found. It exists naturally. And I was like, well, yeah, duh. But here's this evidence I found that shows that what they add to our water was created as a byproduct. What was it? Aluminum or something? It's a byproduct.
Aluminum. Yeah.
Yes, aluminum.
So what does the fluoride do then?
It
besides turn frogs into homos.
Okay, so I don't.
About it.
From what I think I know, it brings the aluminum into your brain.
Okay.
Yeah, otherwise, if you just eat aluminum, you absorb it somehow. It doesn't hurt you as badly if you are eating foods or drinking possibly something that was in aluminum. But the fluoride brings it up to your brain. It gets past that brain barrier. And then it makes you stupid. Brings on Alzheimer's,
to
dementia.
be fair, at the time, we were newly married. I was a city dweller with fluorinated water. And then we moved to the country, and now I don't drink fluorinated water.
You're so much smarter now, you guys.
Yeah, now his third eye is becoming open.
I was newly married. I was a fluoride salesman, and then they woke me up. No, it's supposed to mess with your frontal lobe, so it dumbs you down. That's what the Germans used to do it to their population.
Yeah.
We got a lot of stuff from the Nazis. You ever hear of Operation Paperclip?
Yeah.
Didn't you know about that?
No, I haven't heard of the Nazi paperclip.
You've never heard of that? What?
Oh, come on, man.
No, enlighten me.
You got to take that hat off so your third eye can look it up.
My goodness.
They brought over 1,500, 1,600 Nazi scientists after World War II and gave them citizenship. That's how we got NASA. Because they had like jets already in World War II, and they basically figured out anti-gravity, zero gravity stuff.
Okay.
You still there? Okay.
So where's the paperclip come in?
That's what it's called, Operation Paperclip.
Operation Paperclip. Yeah. That's interesting.
Half of them came here, and the other half went to the Soviets.
Okay. So the Soviets got half of them, we got the other half.
Yeah, give or take. So
the scientists were the spoils of the war then?
Yeah, because they were out of jobs. So they're like, hey, we got to work somewhere. Whatever.
Okay.
So then if you know that they brought the Nazi scientists over to the U.S., that makes another conspiracy theory kind of almost makes sense. It's another theory. It's that Hitler didn't kill himself, that he actually went down to Argentina. Yeah. And that
went down where?
There might actually Argentina.
No, that did not happen. What really happened was Hitler time traveled into the future. I've seen the movie.
We have tinfoil hats.
That's
okay.
That's crazy talk. That's somebody trying to discredit Diet Soter.
It's that a lot of Nazis went down to Argentina and maybe even Antarctica.
Antarctica.
They had a base there.
See that opens up my theory that I believe in. I'm not a flat earther, but I'm somewhat of a hollow earther. But we'll get into that another time. So, talking about.
I don't want to get into this
now. That'll be conspiracy streams number 2.
Oh man. Okay.
So and we really got to talk about what the heck's going down there in Antarctica. There's some interesting stuff there. I saw my brother-in-law in the chat, but my sister-in-law, she'll have to come on and talk about what's going on the dark side of the moon. They got some nefarious activities going on over there, boy. Let me tell you.
Going on over there.
What do you think's happening over there? I haven't.
I don't think it. My sister-in-law does. So.
What do you think?
She'll. I can't do it justice, but she believes that there's a base on the other side of the moon that they're operating out of.
Wasn't there a movie about that?
Iron Sky.
Okay, so
Finns, I believe.
You know what? So many of these movies, wouldn't it be funny? Not really, but wouldn't it be funny if they have some element of truth to them? They're like, hey, look, we're just shoving it in your face, you guys.
Of course they do.
That's called hidden in plain sight.
Yeah, of course they do. They've all got they didn't just come up with these ideas out of the out of the thin blue sky. So,
we didn't talk about the one of the biggest conspiracies.
Yeah. So what is the biggest conspiracy then?
It looks like I can't believe it's not butter.
Yeah, that's not it.
So what is the biggest conspiracy, Zippy?
Besides 9/11?
Ooh.
It's everybody's bedtime now, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
Fun time had my all. Let's get out of here.
I tell you what, I've got a lot to say about that, and I think we would keep Diet Soter up way past their bedtime. I think we could do an entire show on 9/11 and Sandy Hook.
By the way, Antarctica, there's parts of it on Google Maps that's kind of blurred out. Like they kind of hid parts of it if you check it out.
That's the entry point to the to the inner Earth.
Right.
Yeah. Duh.
So I don't claim to know what's going on in Antarctica, but it's pretty interesting that some world leaders like to travel there at interesting times. Like, didn't one of the popes go down there, and didn't John Kerry fly there immediately after the election when Trump won? Just so strange.
I think
there's a lot of resources down there.
Well, I think they do some spirit cookings down there too. So, isn't there a mystery school down there of some sort?
Probably.
Oh, well, I would say that
everything you're saying, though, everything we're talking about, it all comes back to satanic stuff, though.
Of course.
Yeah.
But so Soter, don't feel bad. When we first got married, for Miss Q and I, we had a disagreement similar to the one that y'all had as it pertains to fluoride. We agreed on the fluoride thing from the get-go, just because I'm an educated guy that realizes that that fluoride was a bad thing. I understand. I get it. You were a city guy. You didn't know any better. It's okay. So I'm sorry. I love you, man. All right, but my wife was completely against the idea of GMOs, right? GMOs, Roundup Ready corn, rootworm traits, all of that. She just thought anything genetically modified, she wanted to stay away from that completely. And I'm like, come on, GMO is the best thing that happened to farmers since like water, right? Like, there's nothing wrong with that stuff. And she's like, well, and then they're spraying it down with herbicides. Those herbicides are going into our food. I'm like, you're a nut job. Like, do you realize that we couldn't possibly feed the world with conventional farming methods? It just wouldn't work. Like, I mean, we can't grow that much food without being able to kill weeds off and to spray weeds, and that's all it is. And fast forward to 2019, 2020, we're starting to see some of the effects of spraying down our food with herbicides. I mean, from herbicides being found in our Cheerios that we feed our kids to people, suing these companies for billions of dollars because they are being inflicted with all types of cancer, but non-Hodgkin's lymphoma being the most popular.
Just in the last several years, hasn't Roundup lost several lawsuits at least?
So much so that Monsanto sold it off to
another drug company.
Not Pfizer. Bayer, right?
Yes, Bayer.
Well, Monsanto, they're good at killing people. They used to make Agent Orange back in Vietnam War.
Yeah.
Same company.
They make a lot of cancer. That's for sure. They make a lot of cancer.
Wait, so do you know now about GMOs and all that stuff?
Well, yeah. Now I'm brought up to speed on the stuff. Like I said, I fought with my wife tooth and nail over that whole deal because I thought, man, you're nuts. Absolutely not.
I mean, More expensive. You can't eat as much red meat, huh?
No, I eat a lot of red meat. I just shoot it. So
there you go.
That's good.
It just gave me a reason to hunt more. So it worked out okay. I would say that would be hers. She's sitting here listening to all this, but I think the second one for me would be this whole NSA deal. That everything we say, everything we write, everything we do essentially is being documented, and is being watched. I thought that's absolutely insane. There's no way that is true. And we have seen over time that no, it is true that our emails, our texts, our locations from our phones, all that information is being placed in a data bank and is available. So
it's in Utah.
What was that?
That's in Utah.
I can't say where it is. I'm not positive where it's at. Well, someone else just said it's all in Utah. So I didn't realize there were so many dang conspiracy theorists in this.
Where was that earthquake in Utah recently?
Salt Lake City.
Where is supposedly all this stuff?
It's on Salt Lake though.
Well, I couldn't tell you because like the only place that I know of in Utah is Salt Lake City. We get outside of Salt Lake City, I couldn't name another town in Utah.
Yeah, me neither.
Lake George. There we go. Lake George. Lake George. I think there's a city called Lake George in Utah. So there's two towns in Utah that I can. That's what
I was saying about Skype. They have
we did a road trip.
Due to Snowden, it came out that Microsoft gave unfettered access to all the alphabet agencies.
Wow.
So you guys shouldn't use Skype anymore.
So all the NSA data is in Utah, supposedly. But the Mormons.
That's what that place gets nuked.
Are these the same Mormons that moved to Mexico?
Ain't Mormons running this.
Were shot down by Mexican gangs recently?
See, those guys were Latter-day Saints. I can't really speak on that. I was told that those were more fundamentalist Latter-day Saints or Latter-day Sainters. So I can't speak on that particular topic. I'm not sure if they were the Mitt Romney types or if they were actually the honest type. Not positive.
What type is Mitt Romney?
Mitt Romney is the piece of shit type.
Does he have more than one wife?
No, not officially. No.
Not that we know.
Well, here's the thing. He's a.
Is it like with the Muslims where they can just buy a wife for a night?
You know what? We'll have to get my buddy on that's a Mormon and talk about that. I would love to get into that discussion another time. Heck, we had the polygamist on, and he claims to be a Baptist. So, I can't imagine. I mean, I hear in I don't know about Utah, but I hear in Nevada you can buy a wife for a night.
So. That's nearby. See, Mitt Romney, he's a scumbag, but he's they wouldn't let him become president because they had no dirt on him. He actually doesn't cheat on his wife.
Oh, come on. Zippy, you're going to get excommunicated from the show. Don't you ever say anything positive about Mitt Romney on this show.
I just said that's the only thing. That's the only thing. That's all I said.
I don't care. One is too many. No.
Has Mitt Romney caught coronavirus yet? Or was that just his wife?
Yeah. Don't. Yeah. He's a fan. What? Let me guess. You voted for John McCain too, didn't you?
Yeah, unfortunately.
No, I didn't.
Okay. He must. Yeah. Well, wait. So you voted for Obama?
John McCain's in hell.
Yeah, there it goes. Yeah, that's you hear that sound? That's the sound of the demonetization machine going.
That we already passed that. At least 2 minutes into the stream.
I suppose, yeah, they absolutely hated John McCain until he came out against Trump, and then he was the greatest. He was a hero. So he went from being a war criminal to a hero all in about 5 years. It's pretty interesting. So, all right. Before we take off, I think we got a couple of super chats we need to get to. Can you do the honors, Soter?
Sure. First up, Osmodius with $5. Okay, I need to answer this. Have either of you purchased anything advertised on the Alex Jones show? I have not bought anything related to Alex Jones.
I have
male endurance. What?
I have plenty of endurance.
Good for you.
As far as I know.
Wait. Did you buy some performance enhancing drugs from Alex Jones, Soter?
I have never purchased anything sold by Alex Jones.
He never purchased it. He might have been given it to him for free.
As far as I am aware, I have I've neither purchased nor been given anything by Alex Jones.
You guys, I give him supplements sometimes, but nothing that supposedly enhances male endurance.
Take this nondescript pill, honey.
Yeah.
Like magnesium or
or arsenic.
All right. So no, I personally have not. He had a multivitamin that was supposed to be for brain health, and I thought I might try it at one time. I used to subscribe to the show. Kind of got away from it. He got a little erratic for me. But no, I haven't purchased anything from Alex Jones. Zippy, you?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I have.
Okay. How did I suspect that?
You know what? I used to listen to him a lot, and then I kind of get away, as you said. But not for nothing. I'm not trying to make it a commercial, but I use his shampoo and deodorant's the best stuff I ever tried.
Okay. I heard the toothpaste was pretty good. That he does with the no fluoride in it. Soter, I'm gonna buy you a little bit of that so you can have some of that non-fluorinated shampoo in your life.
Is Asmodeus applying that by using deodorant, it changes the way we think?
I don't know. There's no aluminum in this deodorant.
Is that another question? Is that?
I don't know. What?
Well, I mean, that's been the concern, right? That because deodorant typically uses or not deodorant, antiperspirants use aluminum.
Yeah.
That aluminum can
it's more of a problem with women, I think, and your armpits are so close to that private area that can get cancer.
Well,
it's just about having heavy metals in your body
too.
Especially if they wear those
but women
cutting bras.
Sure. But yeah, that's something that's been talked about for a long time. You know, that some of those having the aluminum free deodorants. We personally use a charcoal based deodorant. Doesn't last 3 days like that store-bought stuff does with the aluminum in it, but you definitely don't get as many headaches. So
where do you get that?
My wife would have to put a link up for us, but yeah, I don't buy any of that stuff. She buys it and tells me I should try it, and then I try it and I like it. So yeah,
I'll have to check it out and get it from Mr. Soter.
Yeah, absolutely. It works. So it definitely works.
The thing is, though, a charcoal-based deodorant, I wouldn't have the excuse of dark skin rubbing off on my shirts.
Wah, wah, wah.
Thank you, Zippy. Thank you.
Good night.
I appreciate it. So I don't have to say it. Next.
By the way, I used to use that like speed stick by Menon or something, and I used to get like red marks under my armpits. That stuff all went away when I stopped using it.
Well, yeah, I mean there's some pretty harsh chemicals in that stuff, man. So, but yeah, no, we switched over to that charcoal-based stuff, and it actually works. I mean, it works for me all day. I mean, even if I'm outside in the summertime. So, there's definitely, if you want alternatives, there are alternatives out there. So, Soter, we have I think one more or two more.
So 1.5, sort of. Up next, also Asmodeus for another $5, the other half of that 10. Also, I hope you realize that buying into all these conspiracies and believing the government is incompetent conflict very heavily with one another. But then they're not much fun.
Well, I don't believe the government is incompetent. I just don't believe that much happens that is by chance. I believe that a lot of the issues that take place, a lot of the things that we look at as just being, unfortunate incidents, are actually orchestrated events. So I don't believe that they're incompetent. I just believe that there is a constant battle of good versus evil. Unfortunately, we're not always blessed with the foresight to know which is which side is good, which side is evil, but we do know that there is a battle between those two sides constantly. So
it goes the whole theory that there's a deep state. There's people in our government who might be great, and then there's other people who might be part of that deep state.
Sure. And we don't want to get too far into the conversation as it pertains to the cabal and those types of things, but I'll say that I believe that there are people who are addicted to their own power, and so they are not there for the purpose of representing the people. They're not there for the purpose of advancing the American people. They are there for the purpose of advancing their own self-interest and their own power and building wealth for themselves. So if we were truly going to kill the drug problem that we have in America, I feel that we would have to start in Congress. But that's my own personal opinion, and it's true, by the way.
I am right.
All right. And lastly, we have a super chat that parties like it's 1999 from Sanja Derugi, and it's a animated GIF or something that says "You are amazing" with what looks like a
thank you.
Hair.
She must be talking to Diet Soter. So.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So.
Is that your better half?
Huh?
Is that your better half?
No, my better half is sitting right here. No, she's not sending any.
Yeah, I'm not giving any money. You can go to your wallet right now and get some money.
Yeah, no, she's just sitting here rolling her eyes at Soter for his poor shot at making a black joke. So
that was 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, she's still shaking her head though. She's just like, oh my god. So he tried. All right, but hey, guys,
he's not trying to be racist. He's just trying to be funny, and it comes off really bad.
Well, you're a black conservative. You're almost as rare as I am.
Yeah, I'm a black unicorn, man. I mean unicorn.
Meet too many.
Okay, so look, but let's be clear. I consider myself to be a Pegasus, right?
Yes.
A what?
A Pegasus?
Oh yeah. And as it pertains to mythical creatures, especially mythical creatures that stem from the horse, there's nothing more majestical. I mean, unicorns are okay, but there's nothing more majestical than a Pegasus.
Yeah, but you're still 98% water.
Oh, stop it, Zippy. You're just jealous because you can't be a black flying horse.
He just dusted himself with some flour before coming on stream. That's all.
Yeah, right. I got these. I tell you what, man, I take this hat off, you'll see that mane. I haven't had a haircut in 2 months. So you'll see my thick black flowing locks.
There you
go. With some gray hidden in there, not in plain sight. So but hey, it's been a fun show. It's great talking to you. We got to continue this conversation. Zippy, we'll have you back here in the next probably the next week. I think we do. 9/11 deserves. We got some people in our chat. We've got some people that follow us that weren't even around for 9/11. So
they're young.
Yeah, right. There's people that are going to vote this year that weren't around for 9/11. Can you believe that?
Right.
So,
wow. Oh, hey, when 9/11 happened, I believed it. I believed everything they told us. I believed everything I saw on the TV screens.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Doesn't matter that I was old enough to see it, but.
Well, we were still in that period of time where we felt like the news and the free press existed solely for the purpose of keeping us informed, and so we were boomers in our own right.
Well, I hate to say this, buddy, but we do have another super chat.
Hey,
they keep rolling in.
All right, let's hear it.
Sure. All right, we have Osmodius, our whale, again with $2. Thank you, buddy. And he says he wears a hat to hide the horn and a hoodie to hide the wings. This is the real conspiracy.
He's on it.
Yes, hiding my horns and my wings. That is. So that is my daily goal in life, to hide the horns and the wings. So. But
hey, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. Nice to talk with you guys.
Fantastic time with you as well, Zippy. You're welcome back anytime, especially if we're talking about conspiracy theories. I didn't realize you were so well versed as it pertained to conspiracy theories. So you are more than what meets the eye, my friend.
I'll take it. I can be on a chill stream too, just joke around. That's whatever you want to do, it's fine.
Sounds good. And
you guys have a good night too.
Diet Soter, thank you so much. Always fun to have you on the show. You always bring a certain level of validity to us weirdos. So thank you.
Hey. Yep.
And tell Mini Soter to thank you for letting us finish the show up. We appreciate it.
He finally.
I guess that would be the miniest of all Soters, right?
Yep.
I haven't heard him for a while. So does he finally fall asleep?
Yep.
All right. Well, hey, Soter, buddy, thank you so much, man. Appreciate you putting this all together and got it figured out. Thanks for engaging with us. And I'll get you some of that charcoal deodorant right away.
Yes, speak to me, please.
There you go.
All right, y'all. Well, hey, you guys be blessed.
That male enhancement.
Yeah, well, hey, we might be able to crush up some of them little blue diamonds and put it in there for you. It'll soak through the skin.
Don't need any more anything.
Anymore. I got 5 kids. Don't need any more.
Yeah, says the woman with 5 kids. So I totally understand. So, all right, y'all. Hey, have a good night. And we will talk to you guys later. Stay safe. And thank you for joining us today. Take care.
Good night.
Bye.